Welcome to this video. My name is Christian from Being Premiere, and it's time to dive into the juicy details of Shogun Episode 7. If you thought the last episode was intense, just wait until you see what's in store for our favorite characters this week. The promo has dropped and is packed with so many tantalizing hints and clues that I cannot wait to break it all down for you. Welcome and let's begin. Episode 7 is titled A Stick of Time, and the description is the following. Outplayed by the new alliances in Osaka, Toranaga is forced to carve out a new deal with a long-lost family member. First things first, let's talk about that big reunion which we see in the trailer that's about to go down. That's right, Toranaga is finally going to come face to face with his brother. Up to this point, we don't have no details on who or what happened between those two. But here's the thing, Toranaga is not exactly in a great position right now. He's been outplayed by Ashiva and her new bestie Ishido, and he's running out of options fast. So this meeting with his brother is not just a family reunion, it's a last effort to turn the tides of war. And speaking of war, it looks like things are about to get even more complicated for our man Blackthorne. In the trailer, we see him asking what happens if Toranaga surrenders, and the answer is not pretty. Sentenced to the death, which doesn't exactly sound like a fun time. Now the title, A Stick of Time, could suggest that the events of this episode take place within a critical and decisive moments, something that we know, where the actions of the characters will have far-reaching consequences. But from a philosophical perspective, the title might allude to the concept of time as a construct, a human invention that we use to make sense of the world around us. In Japan, time was often measured with incense sticks, which would burn down at a predictable rate. The title could be a reference to this traditional method of timekeeping, hinting at the historical and cultural context of the story. On a more metaphorical level, the title could also be interpreted as a commentary on the nature of power and control. In a world where so much is uncertain and so many factions are fighting for dominance and control, the ability to control time, or at least the perception of it, is a valuable commodity. By calling the episode A Stick of Time, the writers could be suggesting that the characters are all trying to grasp their own stick of time, to seize control of their destinies and shape the course of their own lives. This idea of control is also resonant when we consider the predicament that Toranaga finds himself in. With his allies and alliances crumbling down and his enemies closing in, he's forced to confront the limits of his own power and influence. The meeting with his long-lost brother could also be seen as a last-ditch attempt to buy time, to find a new ally and a new way forward in the face of overwhelming odds. Also, the title, in my opinion, could speak about the personal journeys of the characters like Blackthorne and Mariko, who are both grappling with their own sticks of time in the form of their conflicts, loyalties, and desires. As the war rages on around them and the stakes continue to rise, they must decide how to use the moments they have left and what kind of legacy they want to leave behind. But talking about Blackthorne, that's not the only trouble he's facing. It seems like the tension between him, Mariko, and her husband is reaching a boiling point. We have seen these three dance around each other for weeks now, but it looks like things are about to come to a head in a big way. First, we have Buntaro straight up asking for permission to kill Blackthorne. I mean, sure, Blackthorne is an outsider and a potential threat to the status quo, but to go so far as to beg for the chance to chop off his head, that's some serious samurai bloodlust right there. As much as Buntaro might want to get rid of Blackthorne, he cannot just go around killing people willy-nilly. There are rules and protocols to follow, even in the midst of all of this chaos and warfare. So the fact that he's asking for permission, that's a big deal. It shows you that even though Buntaro is a fierce warrior and a loyal retainer to Toranaga, he still has to play by the rules of the game. And in this case, that means getting the green light from Toranaga before he can go on a head chopping spree. But that's not the only scene where Buntaro and Blackthorne comes to a head. No pun intended. Later on, we see Buntaro with his sword pressed against Blackthorne's neck, ready to strike at a moment's notice. And what does our dashing Englishman samurai say in response? Talk about a badass moment that I cannot wait to see on screen. Blackthorne knows he's in a tight spot, but he's not about to beg for his life or show any weakness in front of his enemy. Instead, he stares dead in the face and practically dares Buntaro to do his worst. It's a powerful display of the kind of courage and that makes Blackthorne such a compelling character. Even when the odds are stacked against him and his life, is on the line. He refused to back down or compromise his principles. He's a man of honor through and through, and that's what makes him so interesting to watch. But let's not forget about the elephant in the room, Mariko. As much as this is a clash of egos and ideals between Buntaro and Blackthorne, it's also a fight for her heart and her loyalty. We have seen the way she and Blackthorne have grown closer over the course of the series, and it's clear that there's a real connection there. But Mariko is also a samurai's wife, bound by duty and tradition to stand by her husband's side. So when Buntaro starts talking about killing Blackthorne, he's gonna put her in an impossible position. What's gonna happen with this dilemma? I cannot wait to see. Because what I love about this show is that it's so damn compelling. Remember, it's not about the source or the politics, it's also about the complicated, messy, and orderly human relationships that drive the story forward. It's about the choices we make and the consequences we have to live with, even in the most desperate of circumstances. Now moving to another line in the trailer, there's no future for some of us. It's a reminder that in the world of Shogun, nothing is guaranteed, not even survival. With so many powerful players fighting for control and so many shifting alliances, is anyone guess who'll make it out alive? But even in all of this chaos and uncertainty, there's still moments to look forward to. Like when Toranaga's son asks, "What do you have decided? Do we die with blood on our hands?" Now, Toranaga's son has been pushing his father to take a more aggressive stance and go to war. It's clear that he's eager to prove himself on the battlefield and to his father and make a name for himself. And now with Toranaga's back against the wall and his options running out, it seems like the time for talk might be over. But why his question to his father is so loaded? What have you decided? Remember, there's a lot of stake for Toranaga and his clan, but for everyone caught in this brutal struggle for power. On the one hand, you can understand where Toranaga's son is coming from. He's young, he's hungry, and wants to make his mark on the world. And in a society where honor and glory are everything, dying in a battle is often seen as the ultimate expression of a samurai's devotion. But at the same time, you have to wonder if Toranaga's son really understands the gravity of what he's suggesting. War is not about charging into battle with your sword held high and destruction that comes with it. It's about the lives that will be lost, the families that will be torn apart. And let's not forget, Toranaga has seen this all before. But now, obviously, as we move into the upcoming episodes, we're gonna see his decision of Toranaga, and we cannot help but feel the weight of it. Because when we know that whatever he's gonna decide is gonna have huge consequences that is gonna be seen throughout the rest of the season. So we also have more information on this episode. I feel there's a lot of questions that episode 7 is gonna answer, and I feel episode 7 is gonna be the most important episode of the series. And with episode 7 on the horizon, I have a feeling that the best is yet to come. I cannot wait for a stick of time. What are your thoughts and your predictions? Leave them in the comments below. My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.